Okay, so in this video we're checking out the Eachine E129 beginner helicopter, and this is very similar to the E119 that I reviewed a few months back. However, they've added altitude hold to this model, so it will maintain its altitude like a lot of GPS drones out there. So that's why you have a centered throttle here. And obviously they try to make it even easier for beginners to get into helicopters and fly them. There is no 3D mode on this one at all, so you can't do any tricks right there. It's really just meant for beginners. There is a small 300 milliamp hour battery here in the bottom. This one, my particular one, came with 3 batteries, and is charged via a micro USB cable that's included, and you should use the one that's included because it has a little light that will turn off when the battery is fully charged. If you just use a standard micro USB, it may overcharge the battery, so be careful of that. Pretty simple to operate. Just slide in the battery, the light will turn on in the bottom. Turn on the transmitter, throttle up and down to bind. One touch takeoff and landing here on the side, so press it once to take off, and then when you want to land, get close to the ground and hit the button again and it'll land. Rates are on the throttle trim over here. You have other trims for the yaw, pitch here, and roll axes. The button over here is to change from mode 1 to mode 2, so press and hold this button down, turn on the transmitter, and then I'll switch from mode 2, which is what it currently is, to mode 1, and the throttle will go to the right side. 4 AA batteries in the back, and that's pretty much it. And we'll see how well it flies. It should be pretty stable, and it should maintain its altitude, so let's check that out. Alright, so first we'll slide in the battery, and we have a red light here. It's blinking, it's waiting for a bind. Turn on the transmitter, throttle up and down, shove a bind, and then the light on the helicopter turns solid red. And to take off, you just hit this button right here, one touch takeoff. You can also start and stop the propellers with the typical both sticks down and out. So I'll show you that here real quick. That'll start the props, but it won't take off. And then that'll also stop the props, or start and stop props with the down and out. Let's try the one touch takeoff. Press that button. There it goes. A little bit of wind coming towards me. As you can see, you don't have to do anything on the throttle side. Yeah, it just maintains this position, or its altitude. It's actually pretty good considering the little bit of a breeze we have. So this is a beginner rate, I believe. Low rate. So let's try the high rate. A little bit faster. Just drop altitude a bit in the turns. Let's bring it back to the yaw. It's kind of really, it's like, I'll show you what the yaw is like here. Pretty fast. So I'll go back into the lower rate here. Let's show you what the yaw is like. It's about the same, not much difference. The pitch and the roll is definitely less. So if you go to higher rates here, let's go to higher rates. Yeah, pitch is definitely more, and so is the roll. Super quiet and really stable. I can pretty much maintain position. The wind's going to push it around. It doesn't have GPS lock, of course, and there's no tricks or anything you can do with this. And obviously no FPV. I think the flight time is going to be probably a little less than 15 minutes. I think that's what I got on the E119. This is a smaller battery, so I'm guessing probably max 10 minutes. I'm not sure what the advertised flight time is. The advertised flight time is usually never right anyway. But just you're starting to get used to this. So basically, you know, like with altitude hold here, you just bring it here closer, bring it down, lower the throttle to bring it down, and raise the throttle to increase the height. And if you just want to let go of the throttle, it'll be centered and it'll just maintain whatever height it's at. So it's pretty simple. No FPV on this one. Right now it seems to have this drift going backwards. That's on the pitch axis. Let's trim it a little bit here. There's a little bit of the wind too. Just a tiny bit of drift. So the gyro might have been calibrated that way. If you're worried about the gyro calibration, you can always just turn it off and start over, or you can do the gyro calibration via the stick controls. And the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. You can hear that tiny tail rotor going in the back there. These are brushed motors. I think it's a 6mm motor in the back, and an 8.5mm motor is the main motor for the main rotor. Alright, let's try to fly a little faster here. So in the higher rate, it does seem to lose a little bit of altitude when you push forward. So I am pushing up a little bit to maintain altitude. Let's go out to the sun here so you guys can maybe get a little better look at this. See how stable that is. Not moving at all, really. Just I am maintaining a little bit of forward pressure. Seems to have a backwards drift on it, but yeah, you can see when you make a hard yaw and it drops the nose. So don't do that. You got to try and not yaw as much. There you go. That's much better. Funnels, haven't done those in a while. So these are tricky to do. You got to kind of maintain altitude and do a yaw and roll at the same time. Basically it's like doing a circle, but a very tight circle. And you can see it's dropping altitude there. Let's bring it back. Very tricky. Well, it's kind of fun. So it does come with spare parts in the box as well. I think a few of the little rotor parts, that little plastic pieces that might break in a crash, and extra rotors, of course. So it's a pretty basic kit. Fairly fast. I am in the higher rates, of course. You can see it's pretty hands off. You know, the wind's coming this way and kind of pushing it to the right. But if you're kind of worried about crashing it, just, you know, it's like doing some weird stuff like this, just let go of the controls and it'll just start drifting. So obviously you want to fly this in an open area. You can fly it in smaller areas once you get pretty good. It's very maneuverable, as you can see. But watch that altitude. It does drop the nose and lose altitude a little bit there in the hard turns. It's not anything unusual. I've seen a lot of that before. But if you're able to maintain very tight, you know, control on the yaw, don't yaw too fast. It does do a good job of maintaining altitude. So you just do some more gentle turns like that. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Let me bring it down here and I'll do the one-touch landing. So let's see here if this will work. And it should just, there you go. Yeah. Hit the one-touch landing button and you're down.